Thanks to special teams.
If Kansas City is going to three-peat, a lot of people say they are going to have to go through Jared Goff and his Lions in the NFC side of things. We're in Houston. Goff did not have the best game. Yeah, a little tip drill here. The ball is eventually going to get intercepted by Henry To'o, one of 5 Jared Goff interceptions. The Lions have won 6 straight games. They haven't lost since week 2 against the Bucs. C.J. Stroud to John Mechie III. His first touchdown, second season with the Texans. But the Texans receiving core absolutely depleted, so it's next man up. Mechie, 6 targets, 5 catches, 74 yards, and the Texans had 56 yards on the ground total. Jake Bates, 4th and 11, 58 yards out. He had a game winner a couple weeks ago against the Vikings. He said, man, I was almost out of the league entirely. We tied at 23. Next Texans drive. Stroud looking for Xavier Hutchinson. Incomplete. Stroud was struggling, man. He wanted a flag. 19 to 33, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Terrion Arnold, the rookie, maybe he got there early. We'll never know. Kaimi Fairbairn coming on to kick a field goal. This 58 yards. That very wide.
High snap.
So we remain tied, 23-all, under 2 minutes to go. So the Lions get the ball, looking for 7 straight wins, 3rd and 6. From about midfield, it's Goff to St. Brown, 6 catches, 60 yards. Lions in field goal. Time expires, and the Lions come all the way back from down 16, 26-23. They're 8-1, the best start for them since 1954. And with that, the Lions become just the second team since 1933 to win a game after throwing 5 interceptions and trailing by at least 15 points. Entering last night, teams were 373-1 over that span. In the same circumstances, Johnny Unitas, ding, 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 and the Baltimore Colts do this in a comeback win against the Bears in 1970.
Man. All right, Rex Ryan and Damian Woody are with us this morning. Coach, Jared Goff throws 5 picks. Lions still win. How worried should the rest of the league be right now?
Oh, you better be. I mean, if they can't lose after throwing 5 picks and being down 16 points, and then they come back roaring back like this team, like you talk about grit. It's funny, but Dan Campbell sets the message, about grit. He's always wearing that. This team has grit. I mean, it was an unbelievable victory. I think it's the best.
I give a lot of credit to your side, but the defensive side of the football. Think about it. Your quarterback threw 5, even threw 2 interceptions in the second half, but they corralled and they found a way to go out there and execute in that second half and win that game. Coach, sometimes when you facing that type of adversity, you really find out what.
To me, it was so impressive. The game, look, most people went to bed at halftime thinking the game was over. No, the Lions came roaring out at halftime and really showed the mettle of a championship medal type team.
Called them the best team in the NFL last week, and maybe that adversity helped reinforce that point. Rex, on the flip side of that, C.J. Stroud, a QBR of 35 out of 100, 100's perfect, 50's average in his past 4 games. To put more context into that, that's worse than Daniel Jones. Are these wide receiver injuries too much to overcome down there in Houston?
I think they are. I mean, when you look at Diggs, obviously lost for the year, but Nico Collins, that's his guy. And Nico Collins was playing maybe the best of any receiver in the league before the injury. So this is not the C.J. Stroud that we're used to seeing. And these last 4 games, it just shows, man, everybody needs help.
For the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud, and then combine the injuries at the wide receiver position, you can see a young quarterback struggling. Get Nico Collins back this week. Big play weapon. Hopefully that'll help out, but he's got to be protected in order for us to see the C.J. Stroud that we've been accustomed to.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to run it. Look, you talked about that offensive line. They tried to run it, 30-some times, and they had like 40 yards rushing.
Right.
So, to me, it's just like that. That's where it starts to me. It starts with that line. Get Nico Collins back, I think, will energize C.J. Stroud, too. Because right now he's not playing with the confidence we've seen him play with during his rookie season and early in the season.
Specifically, that pick there to Tank Dell, intended for Tank Dell. Nico Collins, a larger receiver, maybe he gets up and makes that play. Instead, it's the Texans on the wrong end.
I need to know which team stands out to you more in this game last night. Let me set it up this way. Houston was up 23-7 at half. Jared Goff had 5 interceptions through 3 quarters. And the Lions won the game. That tells you more about which team last night.
Tells you more about the Texans. We already knew the Lions were a good football team, right? They're a complete team, so they're able to overcome when one facet of their team is not performing well, and just so happens that the facet last night was the quarterback who had been on fire. We knew there was going to be some regression back to the mean. We didn't think that it would quite look like that with Jared Goff, but credit to the rest of that Lions outfit, man. They played outstanding football, and they just stayed with it, and they had guys to make game-winning plays. Jahmyr Gibbs making game-changing play at the end with a nice catch and run. You're having your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown step up and make some plays in the second half. So, I mean, they had guys step up at different points in the game, be the difference in that team being able to have success and come out of Houston with the win after they didn't play their best.
See, and I think I learned more about the Detroit Lions because I do think that they are not only a Super Bowl contender, they're the team I would put my money on to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And when you're down 10 points and your quarterback throws a career high 5 interceptions on the road, and you're able to not spiral out of control, maintain that composure, and find a way to come back and win, this is just another data point that I have about you being able to overcome any obstacle. And by the way, they do it against a quality opponent in the Houston Texans. And this is why I feel so confident in them as we talk about their Super Bowl aspirations.
Jared Goff postgame did discuss the insane amount of turnovers that he had. 5 interceptions in one game in the NFL, in a win, no less. Here's Goff.
I honestly didn't feel like I was playing all that bad, and I was seeing things well. I was throwing it well. Had some unfortunate things there early, but like I've been through a whole lot worse than that. I've been to the bottom, and mentally I've been to the bottom, and some unlucky plays isn't going to throw me off my game.
You know, Smalls, you said the Lions is your biggest takeaway, that like doing that, having one of their worst games and still winning against a quality opponent is pretty damn impressive. Are we sure they played a quality opponent last night? Are we sure the Texans are that good?
Well, that's what I was saying. I think I learned more about the Houston Texans, who have lost 3 of their last 4 games. And when you think about it, having the game on Thursday night in Week 9, they had extra time to prepare at home. This is a game that they should have taken care of their business. And after they went up 23-7, you got to find a way to put it away. Not throw interceptions of 2 of the first 3 drives that you have in the second half. And then, oh, by the way, the other drive where you didn't throw an interception, it was a 3-and-out after your defense got you an interception. You've got to find a way to play complementary football and put away a good team when you got a chance to. But what you did was allow them to hang around. You allowed it to be a 2-possession game rather than to stretch it to a 3-possession game, rather than build on the lead that you established in the first half. And slowly but surely, the Lions chipped away at it. Because the game was only 2 possessions and not 3, they were able to stay with the running game. Jahmyr Gibbs was phenomenal in the second half. They had 19 rushes for 82 yards in the second half of that football game. Guess what? That offense can't be as balanced if it's a 3-possession game. And that is all of the Houston Texans making and nobody else. So I'm looking at DeMeco Ryans and C.J. Stroud a little bit sideways today, because that was absolutely a win that they needed to have in order to prove to themselves that they're a good football team.
If you're still not convinced that the Detroit Lions are a gritty team after their victory against the Houston Texans on Sunday night, let me tell you what went down. There's no other word for it. It was a Dan Campbell-style performance. In the first half, the game was practically out of reach. Jared Goff, our trusted general, seemed to have lost his way with 3 interceptions, and the Lions were down by 16 points. A total disaster, right? But if there's one thing that today's Lions do differently, it's never giving up. Starting in the second half, with only a 7.9% chance of winning, the Lions showed that the game was far from over. It was comeback time, and they did it. Led by Goff, who put those mistakes behind him, the team went on an unstoppable 19-point run. And who comes through to seal the comeback? Jake Bates. He nails 2 kicks over 50 yards, and boom, epic comeback complete. This victory wasn't just a turnaround. It was the first time since 1970 that a team won even with 5 interceptions. Can you believe that? These 2024 Lions are a whole new story. They're nothing like the old team that kept finding ways to lose week after week. These Lions are different. Led by Coach Campbell, they're persistent, resilient, and have a winning mindset like never before. And you know what's most impressive? It's Goff's confidence. Even with the mistakes, he stayed focused and believed he could lead the team to victory. He even said after the game, "I didn't think I was playing that badly. I was seeing the game well. Some tipped balls, but I never lost confidence." And when Goff wasn't at his best, what did the team do? The defense stepped up. Led by Carlton Davis, who grabbed 2 interceptions, the defense shut down the Texans' offense in the second half. They held Houston to only 6 of 15 third-down conversions and forced 4 punts. And get this, Aaron Glenn's defensive unit sacked C.J. Stroud 4 times and held the Texans' ground game to a measly 56 yards on 28 carries. So now, I want to hear from you guys. Do you think these Lions can keep up this streak and make a run for the playoffs? Doesn't this team feel like it's destined for something big? Drop a comment and make sure to subscribe to the channel for exclusive Lions updates you won't want to miss.